Hello and welcome. I'm Walter, the Bearded Hooker, and today we are going to steam block the trellis square that we made in the prior video. So I have it setting on a 1-inch foam blocking mat. This mat's really great in that it has, and you can see I use it a lot, that it has 1-inch increment squares. So that really helps you to get your pieces blocked all the same size. So the other thing that we're going to use, and these blocking mats you can get anywhere. You can get them on Amazon, you can get them at your local craft stores. If you're going to purchase one, I would suggest getting it from like a Joann's or a Michael's, where you can get you have the coupon and you can save some money on them. They come in a pack. I believe there's 9 in a pack, so it does like 9 square feet. The other thing you want to use, and I don't know if you can see it that well. Let me do that. These are stainless steel, there we go, T-pins. You want to use stainless steel because if you use regular steel pins, they could rust and it would ruin your project. So by using stainless steel, it will keep, the pins won't rust and you won't ruin your project. So when I go to block, and then blocking, again, acrylic is different than blocking natural fibers. And because we're doing, this is acrylic, I'm just going to focus on that. So when I do this blocking, I like to do 1 pin in every corner. And I know I want this finished size block to be 7 inches square. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. And so when I do this, and then I do 7 the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm putting the middle single crochet of each corner is lined up on the corner of each square. And then if you know that this is 7 and this is 7, so this is where our 4th corner is. And now I like to block one side at a time, and I start in the middle, and I'm going to do a pin about every 1/2 inch. So I know the squares are 1 inch, so if I do one in between each square and one on the line, that's my 1/2 inch mark. And depending on how much give is left, I might actually block this to 8 inches, just so I get that really nice clear definition of the actual stitches in here. So I'm going to do just this one side, every 1/2 inch, as I said. And I like to block as I go. That way I can also start assembling. So when we do the next square and I have that block, then I will start crocheting them together. So when I look here, and I pull this side to that line, it doesn't really pull this part tight. So I'm going to actually pull out all of these pins that I just put in, and I'm going to block it to 8 by 8. So I just need to increase this by 1 inch around, or not really around. So I'm just going to go, so this is 7, so I'm going to go 8 here. And it's not pulling the stitches apart, so I know it's not too much. And then I'm going to pull this one up to 8. And then I know that this is now 8 inches, which this is now 8 inches. There. And that, I think, when I look at, it's kind of giving it a little concave appearance, which is fine. So now I'm going to go through again every half inch. And I'm making sure I'm catching both. Let's see. There we go. And when you see, I am going through both the front and the back loops on the piece and lining it up with the edge of the piece is lined up with the blue line on the blocking mat. And you can use other things to block with. Before I had blocking mats, I would take towels, like 4 towels, and fold them over and block them. But the blocking mats are nice in that they have this grid, and it helps to ensure uniformity when you're doing your piece. And then one last one here. And then I like to do the opposite side, which is here. And again, I'm going to start in the center, pull that tight, and then fill in one side, making sure you catch both loops. And when you look at it, the piece, and when I'm done blocking, I will zoom out again so you can see the entire piece. It really separates the stitches so that you can see the overall pattern more clearly. And then I'm going to do this part here. And again, because it is acrylic, we're going to do the steam method. So my iron has a function where it can just be a steamer and not always just an iron, so I can get like a constant set of stream of steam, which is nice. You never want to touch a hot iron to your acrylic pieces because the yarn itself will melt, because acrylic yarn is essentially plastic, and the heat of the iron will melt it, and I know that from experience. And some acrylic yarn melts much more quickly than others. So again, I'm pulling the center out. And even though we're blocking it and it's going to retain its shape, there will be some shrinkage once the pins are removed. So I anticipate that this will probably be in the 7 to 7.5 inch range after it's blocked, because there is some residual draw in after it is done. And one more pin on this side. I've also found that I use one of those old-fashioned tomatoes that you can put all your pins in. It's just easier to get the pins out, because I did have them in a bowl for a while, but between poking myself with the needles, taking them out of the bowl, and then having to figure out that they're in the right ordination, in the right, facing in the right way. Orientation, that's the word I was looking for. Facing in the right orientation. This is just faster to have them in the tomato. So that's our third side. I'm gonna move that pin in a little because you really want all sides straight. Here's the first side we did. And now we're gonna do this last side and pull this out. Again, I like to start in the middle and then work my way across. I mean, you could also go from that middle to this middle, to this middle, and then this middle, this middle. And that pin I just used was a little bent. Sometimes I get a little crazy. I also have, I picked up at Tractor Supply Store, like the stress relief mats for standing on when I do big pieces like shawls and whatnot. And those I do directly on the floor. Okay, so now all 4 sides are done, and I will zoom out, and this is what it looks like. So you can really see the definition of the trellis stitch with the border. So just, you know, make a mental note to yourself when you do this. In my case, originally I had planned on doing a 7-inch blocking, and as you saw that it really wasn't pulling the stitches enough to open it up to actually see the work. So I did go with an 8-inch. So now I'm going to use the iron. So, and that's what I was concerned that would happen, is that the camera would fog. So I'm just gonna kind of put the camera off to the side. Let me see if no. So while the camera is getting foggy, I'm about a 1/2 inch above the piece, and all I'm doing is allowing the steam to touch the cam or the yarn without actually allowing the iron itself to touch the yarn, because again it would melt. So what the heat from the steam is doing is it's setting the yarn into the desired shape that we want. And you just want to make sure, and when you move the iron, you just want to touch the piece and make sure that it feels warm, because then you know that you're close enough that the steam is actually interacting with the fibers. And you want to do it for maybe 2-3 minutes to make sure that it's nice and heated and saturated with the steam, so it will be slightly damp. And then I just like to go around the outside edge like this to get the border as well. Let me just dry the lens. There we go. So now you just let it cool. I usually let it set overnight, and then you remove the pins and you're ready to do your next piece. And this does, as I said, the set comes with 9, so you could do 9 squares, block them all at once. I like to do them, I like to block them as I crochet them, and then as each one is done, I then will start assembling the afghan, because that's what I'm doing with this. If you were doing a cushion, you could do that as well. That is all for today's video. Okay, so it is now the next day. So I am pulling the pins out, and as you can see, it is not actually shrinking any, which is okay, as I thought it would kind of come back a little. And every acrylic brand and type reacts differently to the heat. So while some may have been pulled in, some may have that like drawn. This one, which is the first time I've used this particular brand of yarn, doesn't seem to have that as well. So you remove all the pins. As I'm removing them, I'm just putting them back in my little tomato. And that is how you steam block acrylic. You know, the biggest thing to remember is use stainless steel pins. You can use a blocking mat like I have. This one, I've used towels. I've blocked on my spare mattress. Put towels down,
put pins in it, holds it in place. You know, whatever works for you. As I said, I also have big, like 2x2 square, 2 feet by 2 feet square mats that I got from Tractor Supply Store that are used for like stress relief for standing on, but they work great for blocking. So this is the finished piece. Now that we have it all blocked, I have this piece I still have to take care of. Let me do that. And if you remember what it looked like in the other video, in the first video, how it was not even and it was kind of curled up around the edges. Now we have pretty straight. It's still a little wonky. I didn't do such a great job blocking or pinning, but you can kind of just adjust that. And when you sew them together, that kind of stuff will be hidden. So that is steam blocking an acrylic square. And so that will conclude today's video. Thank you for watching. If you liked this, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, please put those in the comment section, and I will respond to you. Also, as I said, this is going to be part of a series. I'm thinking there will probably be 35 different squares. Will be a nice size Afghan. I'm making this for a throw for a spare bedroom at my mom's house. So if you, again, have any questions, please let me know. Thank you for your time, and remember, keep on hooking.